Isn't that the truth? All you have to do is bleed on the page. Simple as that. Right? Hi there, I'm Matt Jaeger, library assistant at the McCracken County Public Library and an author with a master's degree in creative writing, and I'm here with some tips and prompts for you teens out there for helping you get those words out this summer. What do you have to say about it, Neil? Is there anything more daunting than a blank page? You want to write something, you want to write anything. Something aches to get out of you. A poem, a story, an essay, a song lyric. You can write anything in the world, and yet you can't. 9 times out of 10, that problem comes down to self-doubt. The thing is, and it seems so obvious, but it needs to be reiterated over and over. Writing is a process. If you're anything like me, you want it to come out perfectly the first time. And it's difficult to allow yourself to put down words that may not make sense, that may not be there in the final draft. This is something I've struggled with and continue to struggle with. This belief, this unfounded belief that writing badly meant I was a bad writer. If it didn't come out right the first time, then it was never going to. But this simply isn't true. Good writing takes time. It is much more than a single step. Writing, regardless of genre, whether you're a poet or a story writer or a songwriter or an essayist, is a craft that has to be learned and developed and practiced over and over and over and over and over and over. So here's the secret. The whole trick from going from nothing to something is to simply let yourself go. You have to allow yourself to fail. You have to give yourself permission to write badly. And the first step in practicing your craft is to write with abandon. You gotta let your thoughts out without censor, let your innate weirdness take over, let the ideas flow with no concern for spelling, structure, readership, content, or even making sense. We want those odd connections when we first start off, when we're doing our drafts. We want those things that only make sense to us, those personal connections. So you just gotta let them come out. There's always time later to add things, edit things, and fine tune, but in the beginning, just barf it out. No one has to see it until you're ready for them to. Let yourself write badly. So as practice for writing badly, I'm going to give you 5 prompts, each lasting 90 seconds. Any shorter than that, you may not get enough out, and any longer, you may start to wander. They're super simple prompts that you can recreate anytime, just as long as you have 90 seconds. You can go through all 5, or just do a couple and skip ahead in the video as you need to. I encourage you to use paper and a pencil or pen for these short exercises, because there's something elemental about the physical connection between your head and the pen in your hand and the paper on the table. But really, there are no rules with this, so do whatever you want. I get inspired by words. Just words. I keep a list of words that strike my fancy. I once wrote a whole short story based on the word refurbish. Maybe I'll hear a word over and over and feel like I've got to write about it. Heck, I've been known to open the dictionary, point to a word, and see what I can do with it in 2 minutes. Could be a noun, adjective, verb, whatever. So get your pencil and paper ready because I've got a random word for you. Of course, you can use your own if you've got one in mind, but if not, be ready to write for 2 minutes about the word Our work needs a backdrop. That's what setting is. It helps ground the reader in a time and place, provides a framework, establishes mood. Even if not overtly stated, all writing contains a setting, even if the whole thing takes place inside your head. That's still a setting. Every word choice we make originates from the setting. Of course, setting can mean a physical location, but it means so much more. Setting also includes time of day, historical period, weather, and even socio-economic environments. Get your pencil and paper ready because I've got a setting for you. Of course, you can use your own if you've one in mind, but if not, be ready to write for 2 minutes about. Your work contains at least one character. I don't care what genre you're working in. If you're writing a personal poem in first person, then the character is you. If you're writing a fairy tale, then you might write as a wolf or a witch or a clueless child in the middle of the woods. If you're writing a whole essay about the sound of the wind in the trees, perhaps you're slipping into the characters of the wind in the trees while doing so. Get to know your characters as well as you can. And not just the outside stuff like looks and occupation and name, but the inside stuff like their motivations, prejudices, and upbringing. Even if that stuff doesn't end up in your final draft, you'll write better for knowing it. The better you know your characters, the better they'll appear on the page. Get your pencil and paper ready because I've got a character for you. Of course, you can use your own if you've got one in mind, but if not, be ready to write for 2 minutes about. Details can make or break your writing. Not enough detail in your work will seem blah and impersonal. Too much in your work will feel cumbersome and imposing. Ever read a story and get frustrated because a description of a tree went on for 3 pages? Ever read a book and get frustrated because you have no idea what anything looks like? It all comes down to detail and what you choose to include. Look around the room. If you were writing a story about this room, what details would you include so that it gives a personal feel without you having to include every single item in the space? Practice writing about objects or still photographs as a way to train your brain and eye to see what's important. Get your pencil and paper ready because I've got a still life for you. Of course, you can use your own if you've one in mind, but if not, be ready to write for 90 seconds about. What is the tone of your writing? Tone is what a writer establishes to create a mood in their reader. Tone in movies is often indicated by the background music. In writing, it's our words, and every word and detail you put in your story contributes to its tone. Do you want your reader to feel scared? Then you want to establish tone by setting your story at night, in an abandoned building, using words that are grim and macabre, with a reading pace that steadily increases in intensity. Think about how much different tone can be with the change of a single verb. In choosing to describe water falling from the sky, you can say to rain, to sprinkle, to shower, to storm, to beat down, to pour, to spit, to flood, to fall, to stream. Every word you choose affects tone, sometimes greatly, sometimes minutely. Get your pencil and paper because I've got a tone for you to write about. Of course, you can use your own if you've got one in mind, but if not, be ready to write for 90 seconds about. So there you have it. 5 prompts for helping you get those words out. Like I said, the whole secret to writing is just to let it all out at first, whether it's good or bad. If you're stuck in a piece of your own writing or just having a bad writing day in general, pick one of these prompts and allow yourself 90 seconds to write without any restrictions. You'll amaze yourself with the kind of stuff that can come out of your brain sometimes. Did anything useful come out of today's 5 exercises? Is there anything you wrote in those prompts that you want to explore further, flesh out some more? Anything with potential? If so, and you want some feedback or you have any questions, feel free to email me at my library address. I'll post it at the end of the video. And thanks for watching. Now, go. Write badly.